The Nintendo Switch 2 is finally here. Wait now. No, it's not. It's been a whole month. You know, it's crazy to think it's been a full month since the Switch 2 came out. And there's been so much excitement in the Nintendo community with this thing. Like, I know there's been some controversies and stuff like that with, a couple of things, but all in all, I mean, seeing everybody in the community get together, be excited for this thing, and just, everybody having a good time, it's been really fun. But yeah, I remember when they showed off the Switch 2, and there was so much excitement. It was like, here we go, a new era for Nintendo. This is going to be amazing with what they're going to be able to do. And the first thing, it was pretty cool because, I mean, for me anyways, it showed off like the Switch 1 transforming into the Switch 2. Things were being like taken off of it, and then you're seeing like where the button layouts were going to be for the Switch 2, layout for the console. Then next thing you know, like the Joy-Cons transformed into like the bigger ones that we have now, the colors on the sides, and then it showed them like skating on like the floor, and I was like, oh cool, here we go, mouse controls. And then of course right after that, then you had the build up for the Switch 2 Direct, where they're going to show off all these games. Everyone was speculating, okay, what they're going to show off Mario Odyssey or something, the new Legend of Zelda. And we already knew about the Mario Kart game from like the little cinematic thing they had snippet for the Switch 2. And next thing you know, okay, here we are. We're at the first Switch 2 Direct. A lot of great games were showing off, and then immediately after that, I think that's when it really set in for me. I was like, okay, we're almost here. They showed off the release date, which was June 5th. And then you had, some YouTubers already going out, camping outside. And it was so cool. And, like, it was so cool to see this passion. And, and this is something that, like, nobody can ever say differently about the Nintendo community. There's so much passion and love here. And, I love it so much. And, I'm so happy to see, this spark is still going after all these generations. And, even from my experience, going down early in the morning, because again, and I forget if I mentioned it in one of the videos that I did before already, but my GameStop never had a midnight release, but we had an early opening. So instead of opening up at like 9:30, they opened up at, I think it was 8 or 8:30. I feel like it was 8. But anyways, we went down, myself and my fiance, we went down, we met our friends, we were waiting outside the mall, I think since like 4:30. The doors opened up at like 5, we went in, or sorry, they opened up at 6, and then we went in, we got in line, and then next thing you know, everybody was coming in. We got to meet some really cool people for like our little local Nintendo community we have here. And next thing you know, the GameStop or EB Games now opened up, and it was like, this is it, we're about to get our Switch 2. And next thing you know, the doors opened up. Everybody that was with me was getting super excited, and there were some people even clapping, like, this is it, we're finally getting to this thing. Everybody was getting excited, cheering, and I remember walking up. I already had everything paid off, and when I got the Switch 2 box in my hands, I was like, oh my gosh, this is it, this is the moment, we're here, the next era of Nintendo. But man, I gotta say, the Switch 2 had some very strong games for a launch, and I know some people can disagree or not. One, like, right off the bat, launching with a Mario Kart game, I think was a smart decision. Like I said, Mario Kart Switch 2 launched right with Mario Kart World. Never gone on sale, and that has been a dominant top seller chart for like 12 years or whenever this thing came out for Wii U. And then especially when they brought out the Switch 1, it was like hotcakes. And that launched on the Switch 1 within the Switch's first like couple of months. Like, I think the Switch launched in February or March, and then it came out like right in April. But yeah, like I said, the Switch 2 launched right with Mario Kart World. And then, of course, you got Bravely Default Flying Fairy Edition for the Switch 2. Also, I will say, having this game at the price it launched at, like for me, it was like 57. That's not bad. I think that was a very smart choice for this game because I mean, you got your more expensive games, your $100 games like Mario Kart World, and then you got Bravely Default, at 50. So I mean, it kind of gives you another option to play. Like, okay, I got the Switch 2, and if you got the Mario Kart World bundle, you already got Mario Kart with that. And if you got like a little bit of side, there you go, Bravely Default 2, fantastic RPG to have on the side for $50. And then of course too, you had Fortnite Switch 2 edition on launch day as well. And I mean, just like what I said on my review, going from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 version is such a fresh of breath air that the game needed. And I mean, 60 FPS, more beautiful graphics. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, especially for a free-to-play game. Not to mention, Fortnite is one of the biggest multiverse games where you got like Attack on Titan, Dragon Ball, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Walking Dead, Halo, Gears of War, God of War. There's so much in this game, plus their own like lore of characters. Then, of course, you got Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom remakes for Switch 2 with 60 FPS and better visuals and graphics. And then of course you got like Street Fighter 6, which I wanted to record, but my capture card might have just died on me. Hitman, the trilogy on Switch 2, you got that. Hogwarts Legacy, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Yakuza 0, Sonic Shadow Generations. It was a big launch for this console. And then, of course, on the digital side of things, you got Deltarune, Fast Fusion, and, you got the GameCube games finally. But yeah, man, the Switch 2 launch and the first month of this console, it has just been a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for the future because I mean you got Donkey Kong Bonanza coming up. And again, keep in mind too, like with Donkey Kong Bonanza, like this is the first time we're getting a 3D platformer Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong 64 on the Nintendo 64. And I mean, Donkey Kong Bonanza, like you can see, they got that same capture for like what Rare did with like the goofy characters you can interact with across the worlds, and they're doing like that, like that voice, what Rare would have done. And it looks like a lot of fun, and I'm super excited for this game. And I mean, it's just right around the corner. And then of course, later this year you got Pokemon Legends ZA. Then you got, I think, the biggest launch for this year for me personally, outside of Donkey Kong Bonanza, Metroid Prime 4. And then, of course, at some point later this year or next year, you got Splatoon Raiders. And then Kirby Air Riders. Then, of course, next year as well, you got, the long awaited From Software exclusive for the Nintendo Switch 2, Duskblood. And then, of course, the long awaited, anticipated game of all time, Hollow Knight Silksong. And that's either going to come out this year, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm looking forward to this one a lot, or some point next year. But yeah, it's been a crazy month. And again, it's been a great month for the Switch 2. It's been an awesome launch month. Lots of great things coming. I'm looking forward to the future of this console. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And apologize again for myself rambling, but I just wanted to make a month-thing kind of video for the Switch 2 and just kind of, give my excitement again like the one I did a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.